Good afternoon. I'm Colleen Worthy with Cleburne County School District. I'll be presenting my action research project for IL 658, Problem-Based Experiences 2. Cleburne County Schools has 8 schools and about 2,500 students. We have 2 feeder patterns, the Cleburne County Heflin area, and then we have the Ranburne area. Cleburne Middle School is in the feeder pattern of 5 of those schools. 3 elementary schools transition or feed into Cleburne Middle, and then the Cleburne Middle goes into Cleburne County High School. Cleburne Middle has the 5th, 6th, and 7th grades. They have a free and reduced population of about 65%, and the demographics there are 90% Caucasian and 10% minority. Cleburne County Schools is a rural, impoverished clientele. And oftentimes when our students leave high school and go to college, they are maybe first-time college attendees in their families. We recently had a graduate from high school that was a first-time high school graduate in his family. So we service a poverty-stricken clientele. We had a problem at Cleburne Middle School. Our reading and ELA achievement declines at 5th grade at Cleburne Middle School, and that decline continues into 6th grade, and then by the end of 7th grade we have our greatest decrease in our reading and ELA mastery of skills. We are sending our students on over to the high school for 8th grade with about 40% proficiency when they or lower, they would come to us from Cleburne Elementary in the 70s, and we are losing 30 to 40% of our students at the middle school before sending them on to the high school, and we know that from longitudinal data for several years. Our goal is to increase that reading and English language arts proficiency after participating in a project that explicitly addresses professional learning communities, teacher coaching, peer observations, and data analysis. Those 4 strategies were targeted because of teacher surveys and from our Educate Alabama website that teachers take the self-assessment and then develop their professional learning plans, and these were indicators that fit right into standard 5.2 of increasing professional development and moving practice forward. So our timeline for the project has been this school year, 2019-2020. We began in August I met with the principal at Cleburne Middle, shared with him the longitudinal data. We looked at the most recent data of the elementary students who were coming to him at that time, and we talked about some things that I could do to support him at his school, and so we started then. We created in September, we began some walkthroughs, spent some time in some classrooms, did a lot of observation together so that we could create a solid plan of action. So in October, I actually got into the English Language Arts classroom with the 5th grade teacher. There is only one. They are content, departmentalized by content. So there is only one teacher there. A total of 11 content teachers in Cleburne Middle School. So I just started at the beginning and have been coaching that teacher along the way. Have also borrowed an instructional specialist from the elementary school a few times to come in and also support. Our middle school does not have the funding to hire an instructional coach, so we are doing what we can. Middle grades have been traditionally somewhat overlooked. A lot of funding from the state has been poured into those elementary, lower elementary grades, so we have some catching up to do in our middle schools. In November, we had walkthroughs. I worked with the principal to explain what we were working on in the classroom and some of the targeted things, much of that being tiered instruction and addressing specific student needs. We didn't begin our professional learning communities until January. So we started that, continued with the coaching, with and began our mid-year test. We administered that the second week in January and did a data analysis and then set up the schedule for peer observations. Those have continued through to this month, and we are meeting regularly for data meetings and coaching still, and the peer observations have been well received. The plan is, of course, the project ends at the end of this class, but we plan to continue with the things that we've put in place until the end of the school year. I will be supporting the principal, keeping that focus going, and we'll be teaching in some of the classrooms, working with teachers on the QAR method of a question answer response. It's a sort of somewhat of a test taking strategy. So we want to get our students prepared for the state test in the spring. Although it's not about the test, we want our students to be successful. They be proficient and master skills on any text that they encounter. But that will be my coaching moving forward. Also, we'll do some work with extended student responses because the data indicates that we need support there. And we'll take our final Global Scholar year-end April the 28th. So, but for the purposes of this project, we use our mid-year data to look at what gains or losses that we had after the implementation of this plan with our PLCs and coaching and all four of the strategies that I planned on. The data shows us we have the blue is our reading proficiency at the end of the year for Cleburne Elementary School 4th graders. The orange in the middle is the beginning of the year at Cleburne Middle School, and they have moved into the 5th grade. And then the last gold bar is the reading proficiency for the middle of the school at Cleburne Middle. Now, the data indicated that at the beginning of the year, that proficiency for those same students that left Cleburne Elementary at 73% and moved to the beginning of 5th grade after the summer break, they were at 57%. Well, and that can be several reasons, and we examined that. very much. This gave us that 16% decline. So that 16% was an equivalent of 11 students. So you can see where the orange bar does not, there are increases in the critically below category and the below proficiency category. Here with the orange, the proficient category, we lost some students here, and then our exceeding proficiency, our highest group, we lost them as well. You can see there was a drop here and then an increase, and we don't want increases in those lowest categories and decreases in the upper categories. We're trying to flip that, and at the mid-year we were able to do that. This is what we have at the mid-year. Our critically below category dropped, so we moved some students up. That's a good thing. In our below proficiency category, we moved some of those students, but the thing here is that those students are not the same students. We moved some, but our critically below increased over what they had ended from the end of fourth grade, where we had, coming from fourth grade, 3 students in the very lowest category. Now at Claiborne Middle, we have 9 of those students. So then with our proficiency category, you'll note that we have gone from fourth grade, beginning of the year, and then middle of the year, 5th grade, we have a steady decline. This is what we're trying to address. Now, some of those did move to the exceeding proficiency category. That's a good thing. But not all of them, because some slid. It was within the students. We tracked specifically those students to see who moved up and who moved down, so that we could work on that with our teachers. Again, the 4 strategies that I chose were the professional learning communities. That is well noted by Rick Dufour. We meet twice a month. We target a strategy for student engagement. It may be formative assessment. It may be doing something with a piece of text, a jigsaw. It may be reciprocal teaching. Those have been things that we've targeted to increase that student engagement and increase student retention of skills, so mastery of skills. And then this also gives us an opportunity for collaboration. The Joyce and Showers research is our foundational piece for embedded professional development. Joyce and Showers show that in-class coaching gives us a 95% transfer to practice, while theory and demonstration professional developments that happen when you sit in front of a PowerPoint and take notes gives us a 0 transfer to practice. So we used the Elliott tool that is from Advanced Ed for classroom observations. The teachers have been instructed on what this tool has, and so it is a very loose, comfortable, I hope, based on some feedback that some teachers are not crazy about someone observing them, but because they're working in pairs, and I come to your classroom, you come to my classroom, it's going well. And I have gotten comments like, this is the best thing I have ever done, because they don't get to get out of their classrooms. But so we use that Advanced Ed tool for those peer observations. And then finally, our data analysis, the data meetings. I have a quote here. Eric Kreitz says that the benefits of data-driven instruction go deeper than test scores. Our teachers learned that across content areas, our students struggle with depth of knowledge. Now our teachers are working to increase students' abilities to infer, see causal patterns, and universalize themes, skills, and principles, the kind of critical thinking skills that we want all students to have. So that is our foundation for creating those data digs. And in conclusion, growth was made during the implementation of the project. The coaching and professional learning will continue through the year, and there are implications of this action research. We will be talking about providing a summer school program that helps with the retention of needed skills, mastered skills, and creating vertical teams for common planning so that we can dig deeply into curriculum. And the next steps are that we are going to continue with the agreed upon goal of reaching 75% proficiency in reading in 5th grade. So if that happens, it'll be the first time in many, many years in Cleveland County Schools. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.